Okay, so I am back and I'm here to talk about the third step. I want to finish it up and do it in these different parts. And so we've written the pros and cons list about the belief that we have about the power that we believe in now. And what we find when we look at the cons is that typically whatever it is that I have on that side of the list basically is showing me that I'm having a hard time trusting this God that I believe in or have believed in or think I believe in. And we typically need to get a bigger, higher power, a bigger understanding of a higher power. That's what we're after. I need an understanding. And if I want to understand someone, I spend more time with them and I get to know them and I, Google them and talk to other people that know them. I want to do that about my relationship with God, who I call God and He, and it doesn't matter what you call it. It's just the idea. I always say it's like the light switch on the wall, electricity. I don't stand there and wonder how electricity works before I use the light switch. I just flip the switch. I expect it to work, and I don't really care how electricity works. I want to do the same thing with God. I don't really have to wonder, how God works. I just have to know that God is, not what God is. So we wrote a job description and we hopefully have expanded our understanding of the higher power that we are going to hire to take care of our lives for us. So it's still my life. I'm in charge. I'm responsible. But when I don't know what to do, I have help and I can go to that help. And I can trust that that help is going to be available to me and be able to take care of what I needed to take care of. So once I get a better understanding and I make a decision to ask this higher power to be the God in my life, the higher power in my life, and to hire that higher power for the job, I make a decision to start turning my will in my life, which is just my thoughts and my actions, over to the care of this God. It's a decision. It's not a discussion. I'm going to decide, and I decide many, many times a day, hundreds of times a day, over little things. I ask questions about something, and then I pause and ask for direction. Should I do this? Should I say that? Should I go here? Should I go there? And it starts to become a habit. And I start to really rely on this higher power, which is what I'm after. And so now it comes time to make a God board, so to speak. And I can't tell you guys, I get such resistance and pushback about this. And people want to argue about this. Oh, I don't need to do that. It's not important. Or they just drag and drag. But it's been a really powerful tool, and I've seen people really be able to use it to really accelerate their relationship with a higher power, just because it's something that continues to remind you that this is something that you have decided is to invite this higher power into your experience. And so it's a board, it's a poster board, it's just something a little bit more formidable than a piece of paper, like typing paper or something. A little bit bigger, maybe 11 by 17, 14 by 17, something. Poster board, half a poster board, something that's going to stand up. And then, not stand up alone, but stand up through the test of time. And then you get pictures, things that remind you of the existence of God. And it could be things in nature. It could be babies or puppies or rainbows or clouds or leaves, trees, whatever. And words, things that you could cut out of magazines, words that you see. You could take a picture of it and then print it out, cut it out, glue it onto the board. People use magic markers, color pencils, color pens, glitter and glue, which is pretty cool. But just, paint, whatever. Just enjoy it. It doesn't have to be a big, expensive ordeal. You could do it with your kids if that's something fun for you. But just a visual representation of what I now am making a decision to believe about the power that I have in my life that is greater than myself, that I can rely on and turn to in all things. So, and then I ask you to just, consider where you're going to put it, move it around. After a while, when you leave something in the same place for a long time, you don't really see it anymore. So it's the idea of being able to move it around. Maybe if it's in your bedroom, it could be up on your mirror. If it's something that you could put into the bathroom, if it's something that you can, if you're driving, you can put it in the passenger seat or put it on the floor of the passenger seat and take it with you. Move it around, put it in the kitchen, put it on the refrigerator, but move it around. It's really kind of cool to just be reminded. So that's what the last part of the third step is. And I know it sounds like it might be silly, but it's really a great thing to have. And I've had great feedback from people who have used it. And it's a good reminder to use, to remember that I have made the decision to invite this higher power to come in to manage my life. And when I find things unmanageable, I remember that I have this manager. And I didn't send him on vacation, and I didn't take it back. I'm going to turn it over and let that manager take care of the problem. Just like when I take my car to the mechanic and turn it over to his care. And then I leave him alone to work in peace. So from here on out, we're getting into the action steps. Although we have been taking action, it's not the typical action that people will talk about in the 12 steps. The action steps are, especially in the fourth step, where we're going to start taking inventory. And that's it. Step 3. This is really pretty big work so far. Admitting that I'm powerless, admitting that my life has become unmanageable, admitting that I'm insane and that I believe that there's a power greater than myself that could restore me to sanity, but I don't really understand much about this higher power. I've given a lot of time and effort into details of fears and of what's not working and the things that I'm scared of and the things that I'm anxious about, but I have never really given a lot of attention to the idea of what do I believe about God? And not only that, but by now, what do I know about God? I've had some experiences with this power greater than myself, especially if you're talking about alcoholism and you're sober. There are some amazing gifts that have come from my higher power that are not possible through human aid. And I would like to give credit where credit is due. So we turn to this higher power, to God in all things, and there's nothing too big or too small that we can ask for help with. That didn't come out right. And we'll take it from there. But do yourself a favor, give yourself the gift of a visual representation of your belief in a higher power, and then let's go. We're going to dive deep now into the fourth step, and this is where some real healing will begin to offer itself as we work through the inventories of the fourth step. So thank you for bearing with me while I try to figure out this whole thing about filming and not really sure how to do it, but still just wanting to impart this information to anyone that's interested in listening. So thanks for bearing with me.